Welcome back to a very sad sports first, ladies and gentlemen. Very sad. Let's cut the music. Let's cut the music, please. I'm gonna start crying because my fantasy team just didn't do it this week. Neither one of them. I mean, one was sadder. Just sadness all around. One was worse than the other. I mean, look at this. What was the score? Or technically, my opponent still has C D Lamb left, but that doesn't freaking matter because Chargers defense couldn't hold shit down today. Cause one of the Bowser brothers done went down. And this guy, K York, couldn't keep his shit together and make himself a freaking extra point, which doesn't really matter too much, but still. And this guy, not Batty Mahomes, just couldn't get it done. And then on top of it, he's going to get mad at his offensive coordinator. Not looking good for me. But, a bench done did alright. A bench. I done picked up Richie James. Damian Pierce went off. Hey, all of us were people that believed that Bo believed in rookie Damian Pierce. Looking like that might be something that might pay off. Hallelujah. So yeah, with 18.1, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at this stat line. If we can actually get that up. I think it was 18 carries, maybe more. This is showing receptions. 20 carries. 20 carries, ladies and gentlemen. 20 for 80. I mean, he just looked good out there, to be honest. He looked like an NFL legit running back. Even though at the very end, dude, what's his name? Rex Burkhead done got himself some carries, which I didn't like that. There was a couple in the end zone where he could have probably gotten another, and he also got his first touchdown today. 2 receptions, 21 yards. Total points, 18.1. So that's nice right there for us. Damian Pierce owners. Day P out there. Damian Pierce. Devin Duvernay got himself another touchdown. To be honest, I don't even. Where was Devin Duvernay? Has Devin Duvernay been with Baltimore this whole time? It's just one of them players that I didn't notice. Then if anybody picked up Zay Jones, which I thought was a good pickup since they paid him. I figured I'm like, why not pick him up, see what's gonna happen there, and it's looking like. I mean, then again, you got Christian Kirk out there, and he got himself some points too today. And then you got Marvin Jones, who had himself a nice TD also. So it's like, and then you got Ingram. So it's like, ooze, number 1, 2, and 3. Is it Zay Jones? I mean, Kirk technically, I think he's getting paid the most out of every single one of them. And then it goes Zay and then Marvin, I'm guessing. But Marvin, at one point in his career, he was the best out of all 3 of these guys. Well, this is only maybe a year or 2 ago where he was actually one of the best wide receivers in the league. Maybe a top 20, maybe even better. But there's declines in the NFL within a year. Like where the hell is Philip Lindsay at, for God's sakes? Who knows? I'm not actually sure where he's at right now. Like Kenyon Drake, this dude right here, is 0 points. I don't even know if he got any carries or anything. Mike Davis, just players. NFL is a funny league like that. Probably one of the funniest leagues where one year you're the shit, and the next you're the shit that's being flushed. If that makes sense in any way, shit, shape, or form. One player, another player that didn't perform too well was Jahan Dotson today. But then again, nobody with the Washington comrades did too much. The Commanders, I don't I actually haven't seen. We can look at the numbers real quick. See if any of them hit the top 10 or anywhere near that. As in Terror McLaurin. I think Samuel's actually got a good amount of numbers. I thought I had seen that he had a decent amount. But I'm not seeing him that top. I mean, even Romeo Dobbs, rookie, got himself a couple numbers. Even Laviska Shenault, a player that was supposed to be really big time. I think he went pretty early last year. Okay, so Terry with 16.2. So that's a good amount of points more than Jahan Dotson. But I actually ended up trading. Well, somebody sent me a thread of Juju for Jahan Dotson, and I went for it since I'm like, it's Curtis, Terry, and him. With Juju, you kind of know, it's. I don't think Cole Hardman is ahead of him. If anything, Juju, it's Travis who's their leading wide receiver, tight end wide receiver, and then Hardman gets some touches, and their other Pacheco. I'm sure Pacheco's gotten a couple of looks in the reception area, and then there's McKenzie. I think also. I think it's McKenzie because I know Buffalo has a McKenzie, and then obviously the freaking Chicago Kansas City Chiefs got themselves McKenzie as well. Not seeing him here, but whatever. Let's look at some scores real quick, and then we can get back into it a little, because this is technically half fantasy, half NFL show. Some scores. We had the early game. I'm gonna go much quicker with the games, just a little some for each one of them. Steelers, Browns. Browns still looking good all around. Even, I mean, with the starting quarterback, the guy D-Wop, Deshaun Watson not being there, obviously suspended for 9 or 11 games. I forget which of the two, but I think it's week 9 he comes back. But don't quote me or whatever on that. It's out there somewhere. But Jacoby Brissett actually doesn't look too bad. This is probably the best we've seen him look. So the Browns, they could have easily won that week 2 game as well against the Jets. It was just I remember somebody saying that Chubb could have just went down instead of going for a touchdown. They would probably just won that game easily. Steelers, obviously George Pickens, came down with that trick. One of the craziest. I don't know if it went. I think he caught it, he caught it and then he put it towards his helmet and then got that. One of the craziest get UFG, I tell you what. Browns win that game. Kid York obviously missed one extra point, so fantasy we hating on. Hey. I'd be surprised if anybody had either one of these quarterbacks starting in fantasy. I mean, I honestly don't know anybody that actually is carrying Jacoby Brissett, even though he's not that bad. Bills, Dolphins, crazy game all around. Tua went out for a little bit. Josh Allen wasn't doing so great, but both of these defenses most likely wouldn't allow either one of them to do too great anyways. But the Dolphins came out with the dub, and they're looking really good right now. Tua's looking nice. 2 of the top 3 wide receivers, in number-wise, are playing for them Dolphins right now. They got Moshe and another running back. Let's see who the other running back is. I know it's Mostert and Chase Edmonds. That's who the other guy is. How could I forget? Former Arizona Cardinal. Other games. Bengals, Jets. That Joey Beanbag, Joey Shiesty, Joey getting sacked all the time, every time. Not looking so great. And Joe Flacco just isn't. He had himself one good game, and then he came back down to earth, Middle Earth. Well, just regular Earth. But whatever. He came back down. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna be when the Cougar tamer comes back, Wilson. Are Brees Hall and Micah Ka'a going to be getting good numbers in the reception and touches or carries? And is Tyler Conklin going to be playing as good as Garrett Wilson, or is Elijah going to be ahead of those guys? Because I actually have shares, stocks of Elijah, Garrett Wilson, and I actually just added Tyler. So I have a good amount of these Jets, even though years past I would stay away from these Jets, even though I actually did own a Michael Carter. But the main reason I owned Michael Carter because a year back or last year, pretty much all my running backs went down, and I was just like running back hunting, and I just couldn't find anything, and I ended up with him, Michael Carter, and Ty Johnson. And that's the other thing. Ty Johnson is pretty much like I don't know what because I don't see him in the stat line. I don't remember seeing him. I think a week back or so he did have a couple touches or something, but feel bad for the dude because he wasn't playing too bad. I don't know what's gonna happen to him or whatever, but Brees Hall is looking somewhat like in game. Like if you actually see, highlight wise, Brees Hall looks a little bit better, but Michael Carter ain't no slouch neither. So it's like, do they just do the share? Which I'm not, but I'm not I'm not too happy with that since I got Brees Hall. And then again, it's like it's not too bad. Same with Nick Chubb, Hunt. Somewhat helps with that injury thing. You're not getting so much touches, so that way your player's probably gonna have a less chance of getting injured. So I'm somewhat okay with it. But at the same time, I read I had him all them numbers. But see, that's what happened with Derrick Henry last. They just kept using him, using him, using him. I had Derrick Henry last year. I'm like, man, it's looking like he's gonna get injured if they keep using him. And lo and behold, I'm like, my worst nightmare had came true, and they did. It wasn't too nice because I still made playoffs, but still. But we don't know what it's gonna look like when the Cougar Tamer comes back, and then Joe Burrow. It just ain't looking too good. He's probably, he got sacked. What I think he's like 20 some times already in 2 games, and then I'm not sure about the numbers in this game, but he was getting rushed every single other play. He was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And it didn't look too good. Joe Mixon was questionable, but I don't even remember, or I didn't really read up on it or anything. So yeah, but Tyler Boyd had himself a nice catch and run, got himself a TD. Jamar Chase hasn't been super great these past couple of games. T. Higgins is looking like one of the best wide receivers, like all around, and for the Bengals. He just looks, and he's also questionable almost every other week too. So it's like, spent way too much time specifically on this game, which I didn't want to do, but I did. And now on to the next one. Titans Raiders. Not looking good for the Raiders, obviously. With their record looking the way it's looking, 0-3 now. A loss against the Titans team that just doesn't actually. They're compared to other teams, they don't look too good, to be honest. But then that's the other thing. The Giants are freaking 2-0, and the Bengals were just at the Super Bowl last year, and they're 1-2. So it's just somewhat of crazy. And Dolphins are 3-0. But then again, remember last year, Dolphins, they were on a streak anyway. So Dolphins, I don't know if it's that big of a shock or not, but they did beat the Bills. So Devante Adams, obviously, fantasy-wise, he looks good. But Derek Carr here and here. Then Holmes, who actually was a pickup since Hunter Renfrow was injured. So if anybody picked him up, that's some good numbers right here. I think he got 30-some. Saints and Panthers. I'm sure this was... Yeah, it was Panthers' first win of the year. Christian McCaffrey got himself 100-some yards. I don't remember seeing that much from Baker Mayfield, but 12 for 25 ain't so great. 107 yards, not so great. I don't know how much longer Matt Rue's going to be around. But they haven't been playing great. They haven't been playing great ever since he came around. They haven't had a winning season. Who knows how freaking long? Ever since those Cam days. But then again, Cam came back, and then so I'm talking about the days before. With Rivera. James Winston everywhere still hurting, and his team's hurting even more. Alvin Kamara came. Wait, did he not play last week? I, I'm sure he didn't. Actually, yeah. See, now that thing with that, or the thing with that is, I sat him. I didn't set him out. Like, it was last second. I'm like, I'm gonna either sit him out or today. I actually did. Like, I followed up with that, and I'm like, I'm leaving him in the lineup. If stuff happens, I'm not. So but I had three players like that from my other league. I had Swift, Kamara, and Hurts, and Hayden Hurts. So, oh no, Herbert Hurts. So pretty much I had three freaking injuries, which I just sucks. Pretty much, I'm 0-3 in that league, and pretty much I've gotten one win out of fucking six, which fucking sucks, man. I'll tell you what, not looking good. Chris Olave, one player that's been getting targeted hell a lot, hell a lot. See those targeted numbers. Pretty sure he's on the tops in the wide receiver. Let's see where he's at. Where's Olave? Olave. Oh yeah, there's Mac Hollins with, well, how many targets did that dude had I do? He had 10 for 8, 158. I mean, if he does that, there's a good chance Hunter Renfro's not, or they're gonna be getting he's gonna be getting a little bit more playing time since, I mean, he did that. Most likely gonna be getting a little bit more extra read all about it time. And then you got Fish Olache, 13 friggin' targets. I think this is the second game where he's had 13 friggin' targets. 9 for 147. No touchdown, but he's had touchdown like opportunities. He still hasn't gotten it, but actually, did he already get one? I'm not 100. Sure he hasn't, but you could easily just push down, see what the throw there. Yeah, no touchdown yet, but targets. Yes, he's 13-13. Oh my gosh. Great pickup if any of y'all had him or decided to draft him late or mid. I don't know. I don't think you want to draft him. And I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of drafting rookies early. It's just you don't know if it's gonna work out or not. Like it took a little bit for Dameon Pierce. What, it took about 3 weeks to technically. Well, Dameon Pierce wasn't terrible, but still. And then John Dodson, he came off running. Wilson, pretty decent, actually really good because he had that 30-point game. So it's here and there. You don't know if you're gonna get a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson year, or Taylor year, or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't like taking the risks. Is what I'm trying to freaking say. But yeah, Panthers get the dub. But I don't know if Matt Rule survives. I don't. I mean, he always. The thing is, he's gotten a good amount of. They've made so many trades. They got Sam in, they got Baker in, and they even brought in Teddy Bridgewater. And I mean, I don't know. It's the NFL. It's you don't really get that much chances. So who knows? Maybe it turns around, but that's I don't see it, to be honest. I'm not trying to hate none, but he really hasn't done too much. And he also brought back. I mean, you can't blame him too much his injuries and all, but still, other teams have injuries and stuff, and they find ways to deal with it and figure stuff out. So I don't know. Obviously, it's not Baylor. This is freaking ENC, baby. Ravens, Panthers. Defense almost kept doing stuff for them Patriots, but the Ravens defense kept doing stuff too. With that drop by, who was it, Myers, and then the defense picked it up, and then they as in Lamar just kept putting in work, and they found a way to win. Detroit Lions were close to getting a dub, but couldn't figure it out. It was late into the game. Minnesota found a way with KJ Osborne. He's one player that I had, but I dropped. Justin Jefferson, 2 back-to-back games where he hasn't played too great. People are expecting him to lead, and he's not leading. And who is it? Saint Ra had himself another good game. I'm guessing. I haven't actually seen his official numbers. Let's look at the numbers real quick. Devante Smith, obviously, with that big old game he had with the 30, with a birdie. I'm not seeing where's Shamrock. I think he actually Raw actually did go down. Um, wow, he's way down. Questionable. Huh, I thought he had a bit much bigger game. This 13.3. I mean, that's better than some other players, but still, that's better than Ayuk. But I thought he had a bigger game. I guess I was wrong. I'm willing to live with that. Commanders, Eagles. I somewhat talked about this already. AJ Brown, obviously, he's seems like he's gonna have a good game almost every other. He looks like he's much better than he was in freaking Titans. Seems like the Titans were holding him back for some freaking reason. Either Jay Hurts is just a much better quarterback, but then again, you also got Devante Smith out there, and you got Goddard out there. You got three running backs, and Hurts can run the ball as well. So it's he and Wentz just couldn't get that done. He couldn't get the revenge dub against his old team. Chiefs Colts. Chiefs pretty much had the lead the whole well, pretty much the whole time, and then Colts just pretty much weren't allowing the Chiefs to do anything defensive wise. Uh, there was a lot of chances for Pat and the boys. A lot of I don't know, just sloppy in a way sloppy throws. Juju obviously got his numbers. Kelsey's got some good numbers, but still could have been much better all around for pretty much everybody in the as fantasy wise and just a actual win. And they obviously don't have their kicker butthead. So that was going against them as well. Because every time, like they even drew up a fake, which they obviously wouldn't have done if they had their real kicker. And they would have, I think they would, for me, I feel like they would have won because and that last drive was like 8 minutes long. So if they had their kickers, I believe that the Chiefs were going to win. They would just find a way to win. It just would make it easier. They wouldn't have that in the back of their mind, like, oh, we're going to have to kick. And it doesn't seem like they trust their kicker. Bears Texans. Talked about that Damian Pierce. Justin Fields just. I mean, he's throwing a couple. He looks all right, but then again, when he holds just a little bit, doesn't seem like the line holds up when he holds a little, like the ball for a little bit longer than he needs to. Um, I don't know if they need to like do some scramble, you know, pass on the run style of plays for him, or just drop some good stuff, man. Um, but it ain't looking too great. I mean, right now it ain't looking too great. But the record, they won the game, so I guess that's all that matters. So 2-1, and they're um, at top of their division technically. Well, actually, the Packers are 2-1 too. So and the Packers beat them, so I don't think they are top. But whatever. Jags, one of the shockers of the day. Jags dominate in Chargers, but then again, the Boozer brother went down. Trevor Lawrence was looking shockingly amazing. I faced him fantasy wise, and I just wasn't happy about that. Like I brought up earlier, the three wide receiver situation and the tight end and the two running back situation. As a team, you like having that problem. You have pretty much all these well problems that are good as a team, but as fantasy managers, just ain't too happy with that. I tell you what, because we got to pick and choose, and like, are they even worth keeping on our rosters and all? But still, is there somebody else missing for the Chargers? Oh yeah, Keenan Allen is missing for the Chargers. Herbert was or having this rib issue, so and I have him as fantasy too, so I'm not too happy about that. Austin Eckler put up okay numbers, not great or nothing. Mike Williams had that nice touchdown. Anybody else? There was a number one. What was his freaking name? I gotta figure that out for the Chargers. Carter something. Carter. DeAndre Carter? I thought he was a wide receiver, to be honest. I guess that's. Am I tripping? No, he is. Okay, so yeah, the 3 for 31. I thought he did a little bit more, but whatever. He actually. Oh, and then you also got Jalen Guyton and Joshua Kelly. Supposedly Joshua Kelly was supposed to be breaking out since Keenan Allen, but he's not. So that's a thing right there. That's a thing. Oh well, Gerald Everett, I guess, is somebody that's doing things, somewhat doing things. Other game, Cardinals Rams. Cardinals just couldn't do anything, and Prater was pretty much getting all the points. Rams defense was just holding it down, not giving anything, not giving them anything. Um, it's looking a little bit better for Cam Akers, you Cam Akers holders. Cooper Kupp got that rushing touchdown, which was from left field. I don't know if that was one of his first rushing touchdowns. I'm not 100. But then I'm not too sure about Stafford's numbers. So yeah, Rams pretty much. I wouldn't say easy. I guess you could say comfortable, but it wasn't easy. But they still got it. Defensive wise, obviously they didn't give anything to the Cardinals. The Cardinals are lacking wide receivers. You know, with the only Marquise Hollywood being the only other wide receiver out there, and I don't know if. Oh, and then they got Morad. They got Hopkins, who is suspended because of the um, steroids, the PD, the PID. Um, Packers Buccaneers. Packers started off hot. Romeo Dawes got that touchdown. Uh, I think it's Watson. He was out. Was Cobbs out? No. Sammy Watkins was out. So they were low on wide receivers, but so were the Buccaneers. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers looking like mid-tier wide quarterback. Just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. I already know Aaron Rodgers, two-time MVP. Don't think that's happening this year, or it's not looking like that's going to be happening this year with the amount of the times damn boys are running. To be honest, I'm not sure who the favorite is for MVP or just MVP. I mean, Lamar Jackson is putting up numbers, but I don't know if that's mainly fantasy number. Josh Allen, he had a bad game today, but before that he was doing pretty good. Pat first game was doing pretty good, so I'm not actually 100% sure who the hell is in favorites for that MVP. It's early though. We'll see what happens. Falcons, Seahawks, two guys that somewhat were backups and all facing off. Gino versus Mariota. Uh, Fantasy wise, I guess Mariota had okay day. Okay, day other than that interception, I think he might have had more than one interception. But Geno Smith, not too sure about his numbers. Let's look at Geno's real quick. I don't even want to look too deep into these. I mean, 32 for 44. I mean, in a way, those numbers are better than Baker Mayfield's. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. At times, Geno Smith looks pretty good for some reason. And Mariota at times was looking all right too. But hey, one big thing, Kyle Pitts wasn't stinking up the room. So that's a good thing. He actually had himself a pretty alright game. I think he only caught 4, but still, that's better than what he's had in the past 2 fucking games. I'll tell you that. Cordell Patterson, I feel shitty for not drafting him because I just thought, I'm like, man, that's it for Cordell Patterson. But man, he's looked like a beast from wherever. He looks, I mean, he's just, the way he plays is just like, this guy is 30-some years old and just beast moding it out there, jumping over people, doing everything and anything. Wide receiver can be into a running back, or was he a running back before he was a wide receiver, then became a wide receiver, became a running back? Whatever. The man's balling out there, so he ain't got all that wear and tear. I mean, I don't feel good about. I mean, he was going to be drafted late anyways. I should have taken a chance on him. I didn't. And now I'm going to be paying for her. Hopefully I don't. Hopefully he does pretty bad when I face him. But whatever. 49ers, Broncos. Another one of those games was just shady. Not too much going on. All defense. Similar to the Packers Buccaneers game. Not too much going on. And I don't know if I mentioned, but Buccaneers also didn't have too much of their wide receivers too. So that was just like, it's a game where obviously if they face off again, it's going to be a completely different game. Because the rookies are going to know much more, and I mean, I don't know how much different it's going to be for the Packers, but for Buccaneers, obviously, it's going to be a much bigger much bigger difference with Godwin, Mike Evans, and hopefully Julio is going to be okay during that time too. 49ers, Browns, obviously, as you can see, Cowboys, Giants haven't faced off, and it's That's going to be the last game. Obviously, I'm not going to be talking about it because it hadn't happened yet. Going to be crazy when if the Giants win. I mean, I feel like they have a better chance, even though the Cowboys defense is technically the defense. They are the better defense. But quarterback play, I think Danny Dimes might be. I will see what Cooper Rush, because Cooper Rush didn't have himself a terrible game last week. Maybe he does better. Since Mike, I don't know if Michael Gallup's come back. He's questionable, but who knows? Maybe he might play or whatever. But seems like he's alright with Brown and who the hell else is out there for them Cowboys other than Michael Gallup. Schultz even, I think Schultz is injured to be honest. I'm not sure. Let's look at their last game before this one. Oh yeah, it was the Bengals game. Obviously Bengals. That Texas defense was just whooping their ass. And then this is a game where Dak Prescott got injured. I know Brown. Oh yeah, how the heck do I forget about C.D. Lamb when I brought him up earlier in the show, and then you got Schultz, which I thought he was injured. Dennis Houston, I don't know who the hell Dennis Houston is. Wait, actually, is Dennis Houston that punt returner? I'm not sure. But Noah Brown, so seems like Cooper Rush okay with Noah Brown. But what the heck else was I talking about before that? Before that. Oh yeah, 49ers Broncos. Obviously, the most of y'all know Russ Wilson ain't looking too great. I mean, other than that very ending of this game, Russell just went out of the pocket and threw a pass to who was that? Was that Cortland Sutton? I think it was. Or was that Jerry Jeudy? It was one of the two. I mean, their running back play is okay, but obviously if that levels up a little bit more, opens up more of the passing game and and the tight ends. I don't know. I don't remember hearing too much about the tight ends or anything. But then again, the 49ers defense is legit, so both defenses are on point. Jimmy G with the safety and Debo actually went down for a little bit. I thought. Ayuk wasn't super great. Jeff Wilson, I think Jeff Wilson had a fumble. Williams, I'm sure. Oh no, Melvin Gordon actually got the touchdown. So that's the other thing with the Broncos. Fantasy wise, you don't know who the. I mean, it seems like Javon, even though Melvin Ingram even said that they want to use Williams, but even though old boy Gordon got the touchdown. But other than that, I mean, we can look at a couple more fantasy numbers. Tripping. I'm sick tripping, guys. I'm sick tripping. Let's look at QBs, top 5 QBs. Who we have at Q? Avi, Lamar Jackson with the running and the passing and the who and the hive. You didn't have that INT. 4 touchdowns, 4 pass touchdowns, 1 rushing. Well, I didn't realize you had 5 whole touchdowns today. Those are pretty good numbers, ladies and gentlemen. 11 carries for 107. Oh my gosh. 39.42. Jalen Hurts. These are just this week's numbers. Okay. Because I had a thing where, let's see. This is all season. Lamar Jackson with 60.84. With 6 total touchdowns, 1 interception. Are these numbers correct? Or am I set tripping as well? 1 rushing touchdown. I'm pretty sure, I guess this says 2012 season. So I'm guessing these are his total numbers. Jalen Hurts, 340 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no rushing, but 9 for 20. And then you got Trevor and Josh Allen, and then you got Joe Burrow, even though he got whooped, as in he won, but he got a whooping, as in like every other freaking play he was getting thrown to the ground or just whatever. Derrick Henry made himself a returner, somewhat of a comeback fantasy-wise, with getting 25. That early pass and then went for a couple yards. Jamal Williams taking everything away from me and DeAndre Swift. I don't like this whatsoever. The funny thing is, last year I had Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift would take at everything because I thought it was supposed to be a backfield where they were sharing. Um, Yep, that's a mess up right there. But we're gonna keep it because it doesn't matter since it's pretty much the ending of the show. Cordell Patterson, obvious. I didn't know he was in that top five. Devin Singletary, a shocker to be in that top five. James Robinson, shame on us for doubting man's crazy. I have two running backs in the top 5, 7 ish or whatever the heck it is. Hey, and I have Brees Hall. That's cool. That cool. Samaje Perine, also another one with another surprise right there. I don't know if that's because of the injuries and everything, but so much of a weird top three, four, top five for wide receivers in week 3 fantasy. You got Devante Smith, Mac Hollins, Marquise Brown, Russell Gage, Zay Jones, and Chris Olave. That's like just one of the weirdest fantasy weeks in a long. And you got, I mean, Amari Cooper technically in a way shouldn't be in this top. Um, for many years, he always gets that injuries and stuff. I mean, obviously he has good games here and there, but and Romeo Dobbs and Isaiah McKenzie. This is a strange, in my view, a strange top. What even Devontae Parker, Tyler Boyd. This is not what you would expect in a way. I mean, even KJ Osborne, for God's sakes. Then again, a lot of the top guys didn't really have the best performance. Jamar Chase didn't have a good performance. Justin Jefferson didn't perform. Cooper Kupp, how much numbers did he get? What, 16? That's good, but you want Cooper Kupp, you want what, 20 something points maybe, but still, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. Keelan Allen obviously isn't playing. Diggs, it looked like he was shooken up the whole game. If anything, like even Gabriel Davis should be on that top list compared to those guys. And even Devontae Adams, 14.1, you'd expect him to be in that top of T. That's why I say it's such a weird week. And, a lot of those guys in the bottom are where these guys are. I mean, Devonte Smith is a number 2, but still. Ty Adams, we can look at that real quick. And I think I'm going to go ahead and, I'm not going to go and look at the kickers and defense. Those disappointing pieces of shit. Mark Andrew, Marky Mark, looking nice at it. Nice, as that guy would say. 8 for 89, 13 freaking targets. Lamar Jackson's number 1. You're going to get them numbers. Even Duvernay got himself a touchdown, but whatever. And Juku looked actually really nice. I kept seeing him in the wire. I'm like, man, should I go out there and get him? But then again, in both of my leagues, like tight ends, in a way, people want to let go of their names, like name volume, like stars. They just kept holding on to those guys. Obviously, Pitts wasn't stinking it. Swain got himself some numbers. Actually, let's look a little bit into the waiver wire. Well, let's see what's up in our waiver wire, or my waiver wire, or whatever our freaking league's waiver wire. Players, watch list, added players. How do I find available on waiver wire? P. Ryan, Cole Komet. You got Georgia Pickens. He's probably going to get picked up. Obviously, after that crazy catch, most people are probably going to want to go get him. And then Devontae Parker is probably going to be a pickup player since he had that one crazy game. And he's looking like, most people got Myers already, but Parker looked pretty nice in this last game, so he's probably going to be a pickup player. Other than those guys, I don't know who else. Noah Fant is here and there, but then again, there's a bunch of other tight ends. Even Cole Kmet got a couple today. I'm not sure. It was like 2 that he got, maybe more, but whatever. Jarvis Landry questionable, but I don't know. Was there another player? I can't remember if there was. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is suspended. Nobody in our league has picked him up. McKenzie could be a player that could be picked up since Gabriel Davis is somewhat dealing with that. I'm sure this is the whole ball. Yeah, this is pretty much. Let me look at my phone real quick, see what we got. because the phone it just looks a hell of a lot different compared to how it's looking on the desktop. On the desktop players. See if it looks any diff. Scotty Miller, no. Yeah, it's pretty much the same tops as in. Yeah, yeah. I don't see. I mean, Donovan Peoples Jones, but I don't know too much about that. You could go with Omeda Zacchaeus. I don't know about that either. The thing is, it's week 3, and a lot of the players you'd want to be picked up are pretty much already been picked up. Surprises come here and there later on in the season, obviously. Ove. Um, but obviously with a lot of people will most likely have stashed a good amount of players. Like we could look at teams in our league who are stashing players, hoping that something happens for them. See, where's the standings? Let's find the standings, scoreboard standings. Let's look at certain. I mean, we could start off. Let's look who I got stashed. I mean, for me, it's some of the ones I have stashed or somewhat stashed. Damian Pierce is already working. Zay Jones got 25. Tyler Algier hasn't really had a breakout game yet. John Dotson already did. So the players I had stashed have somewhat shown their true colors, and they look somewhat good. Um, let's look at the champ. I think he won the championship last year. Let's see who he's got stash. Kenneth Gainwell, I'm sure he's wanting some to go down with Sanders, but then again with the Eagles, it's like hoobity hoobla, like who the hell knows what the hell's gonna happen over there. And then Ashton Doolin, to be honest, I haven't even heard of Ashton Doolin, but I think this guy just might be. I mean, you got who's their freaking number one? I'm losing him. Pitts. No, not Pitts. Pittman. And Pittman came back this week. See who this guy's got in the hideout. He doesn't really got anybody other than Rondell Moore's out. I don't really see anybody there. I mean Ingram, but Alvin Kamara's already injured and he's still not get. Unless he had actually a pretty big game. Nope, not a big game. Let's see somebody else. Somebody else. Says Huffa Diggs. Yeah. Elliott, Allen Lazard, Treylon Brooks. He's one player that I was thinking about stashing because he might just pop off out of nowhere. Dontre Hilliard, if anything were to happen to Derrick Henry. Oh, we already looked at this guy's. See if somebody else. It just makes it easier seeing what other people are stashing. That way you could, if you're looking for players to stash, most people should already know who I mean, you can't do too much players because, injury-wise and everything. Like my other league, I literally can't stash a single player because I have so many freaking injuries. I wouldn't say Marcus. Who the heck has Marquez Valdez-Scantling stash? That's not a. Like Alexander Madison's a pretty good stash because Cook actually went down today, so this pays off right pretty much next week probably. There's a good chance that one pays off next freaking week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll look at one more, and that's pretty much going to be it since I've went overboard, way overboard. Brandon Bolden, like you can say that's a stash because Josh Jacobs, who goes down, I think that's their only guy. Oh, and the weird thing is he's got Zamir White and he's got Brandon Bolden, so it's like, what you gonna do about that? Because they were talking a good jumbo about Zamir White, but it's the person I actually traded with. Dalvin Cook for Chase. I got Chase in return. He got Marvin Jones and Cooks, but Cooks already went down, so I feared that could be a problem. So that's one of the other reasons why I did trade. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Sabotage out until next time. Hopefully, I get a dub. If I don't, it's all fantasy, baby. I'll be pissed off, but it's all fantasy, baby. Yeah, I still want a fucking dub though. But yeah, actually, let me show you my team that just got injured all over the place. I should have. The thing is, I could have probably won this game if I had decided to just put in Brees Hall and Damian Pierce, and I didn't. For some reason, I was like, let's play John Dotson. He's had good games in a row. That was a stupid, dumb decision. And I knew I should have taken Hayden Hurst out, and I thought I had a backup. See, that's the other thing. I didn't know who I would have to, who I could have dropped. I didn't want to drop Michael Gallup. I didn't want to drop Elijah Moore. I was thinking about dropping Darnell Mooney, but Darnell Mooney technically could be Chicago's number one, so I didn't want to make that mistake. That's one problem with me. I feel like I hold on to players way too long, and like it hits week 7 sometimes, and I'm like, man, I should have read the fantasy writing on the wall. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Hopefully, I win a game next week. But yeah, I had 3 of my top guys injured. I had Herbert injured. I had Kamara injured or questionable, all coming into this friggin' week. So I was just like, it's gonna be shits. And then Garrett Wilson is probably gonna be questionable too. So I just hopefully Brandon Cooks it and nothing wrong with him because not like he did good this week. He actually only had like how many points? I thought he had 4, but last week he had 9 points. Some this week I'm not seeing his points. But whatever. I already said sabotage out, but now it's officially sabotage out.